Hey, are you dealing with an oppositionally defiant child, a child diagnosed with ADHD, constantly getting calls from the school and wondering what you're doing wrong? Well, we're Bonnie and Thomas Leota, and we're here to help you and your family live in the joyful side of parenting, the happy side, the loving side. And we're going to do this by introducing you to time tested principles that have never been brought into the realm of parenting until now.
Can I ask you a question? Do you actually have the courage to question anything and everything that you've ever learned about parenting? Not in a way to show disrespect, but in a way to ask and question anything for deeper understanding, because we're in a time of crisis, a time of need, a time of disorder, because something is causing this. It's not by chance or luck. So, as you entertain tonight, I believe, we believe, life believes that you're going to fall into one of three categories. You're going to think they're absolutely crazy and tell us that I can't do that because my kid's got
Blank. I don't know, CPD, ODD, DMDD, conduct disorder.
a really good story
Yes.
that lets you get through the day, but doesn't help me continue on my way.
Right.
The second one, well, let me think about this, because we've been told a lot of things about our kids, and even though we know what it is, we still don't know what to do. That might be that category right there. The second one is, well, this is going to sound real nice, and I agree with everything, and you'll end up going back home or go back to Netflix and change nothing and do nothing and be in the same place tomorrow. Or you know what, Bonnie? This is the answer. This is the answer to my parenting prayers. The solution to my parenting puzzle to raise healthier, happier, cooperative kids, and feel in my heart of hearts that you'll do whatever it takes to help your children and your family get to the brighter side of the equation.
Right. So we're going to think we can't. We're going to say, that's great, but I don't care. Or we're going to go all in and binge watch all of our videos so that you can learn the principles that'll save your family. Thomas said that we're in a time of crisis, and it's so true. In the study that appears online, and this was January 2022, by the way, so a lot of things have also changed in the last couple of years, but this was an issue of child and adolescent psychiatric clinics of North America, and the study found that overall, almost 22% of American kids, and I'm going to tell you from experience, because we have families that come to us from all over the world, Egypt, the United Kingdom, Australia, Hawaii, like everywhere, all over the world. And they're experiencing the same issues that we are here in North America. It talks about children between the ages of 3 to 17 have one or more of the common mental, emotional, and behavioral health conditions that were assessed, the conditions that we're talking with you here tonight about. In a world where child mental health disorders are taking over our children, it is time to ask the question, is there a parenting style that improves child mental health statistics? And if so, what is that parenting style? And if you agree with that question, if you think it's time to start asking questions and time to stop just listening to the therapists, psychologists, doctors, and the content that's out there, give us a comment. We love to interact with you. We want to hear from you. Even if you don't agree, that's okay. Put a comment. We want to feed off of your energy, because it's kind of like if we're riding a bike, you're on the bike, you're looking for help, you're looking for parenting answers, you're on the bike, and you need to pedal the bike so we can help you steer the bike in a more positive direction. And that's who we are and what we're going to help you do if you follow us and stick with us. Stick and stay and make it pay. All right. So I want to just share, for those of you getting to know us, we're Bonnie and Thomas Leota, and I know and remember what it was like, the heartbreaking feeling that it was watching my children destroy my home, that I thought that I had to work so hard to give my kids a good life, an easy life, a great life. Um, I was watching them destroying their own lives, making decisions that was getting them kicked out of school, making them decisions that were getting them involved in fist fights, and absolutely having no idea what to do about it. There were literally no solutions besides maybe medicating the children, putting them through years of therapy and counseling. I tried all that and nothing was working. At the end of the day, ended up in fetal position, praying to God for an answer. And thank God I met Thomas in January of 2011. If you actually want to know our story, we have a group on Facebook. We have a YouTube channel. We have lots of videos that share our story, but we want to dig right into the content and the information that we have here tonight for you, because we want you to leave empowered. We want you to leave with some answers. We want you to leave believing more in your child's ability than in the disability. And I got to tell you, from one mom to another, from a personal development guru to another. I mean, between Thomas and I, we have more than 60 plus years in the realm of personal development. We have studied success principles. Thomas is a 4th degree black belt in Taekwondo, had an award-winning after-school program with thousands of kids that had come through that. And I've worked with adults, over 10,000 people in my organization when I met Tom, failing as a parent. Okay, so that's a little bit of our background, give us some credibility here. You have all the power.
Yes, you do. Always have, always will.
Nobody else has any power to help your children. And Thomas, can you read that comment? And so we can talk to Joy here in just a minute. You have all the power, moms and dads. There's nobody else in the whole world that's going to love your kids enough to do what it takes to help them, to turn things around in your family. And I just want to share a little bit of a vision here. We're building a world-class group community of moms and dads who are ready and willing to stand in the front line of fire to protect their children and their families in this war against child mental health disorders. So I want you to just imagine for a moment a world where children are healthy, happy, cooperative, independent, confident, children who work with you in harmony as a team. And I know it might be hard to believe, but I promise you it's possible, because we're doing it. Our clients are doing it, and you can do it too. All you need is the correct information. So we can't let these child behavior disorder labels take us down. And like Thomas said in the beginning, some of you are going to watch this and go, no, you don't know my story. I can't do it. And that's going to be completely up to you. We can lead a horse to water, but we can't make them drink. And we can lead you to the correct knowledge, but we can't make you think. And we can't make you engage. And we can't make you show up and push play every day on our channels. But I'm going to encourage you right now to do so. And one of my favorite songs, and maybe you'll know this song, and maybe I'm just dating myself, but it's John Lennon's song, Imagine, where he says, imagine all the people. And if you have this dream, we love comments, share comments. We're in our Facebook group. We're for the first time on Instagram. We're on YouTube. Share comments with us. We want to hear from you. But John Lennon said, imagine all the people living life in peace. And then I added my own spin on here, and happiness and confidence and love.
Just to name a few.
You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us and the world will be as one. So we're going to bring you a new perspective tonight, a perspective that's going to breathe life and hope and power into your parenting, your children, and your family. And Tom, what is that saying that you always say?
Which one?
You can.
Oh, hang on a second. I remember this one. This is all right. We all know that there's a big giant industry out there that loves to pop pills and say you can pop a pill and mute the so-called symptoms, or you can show them how it's done and pass on the missing life skills. So the game gets really, really, really simple, like heads or tails. Either pop a pill or teach the missing life skill. And this is the difference between your child becoming a champ or being somebody else's victim story.
Yes.
And see, we got Jay who chimed in here and brought some awareness, is that you must find what we call is a big kid trusted advisor. There's got to be somebody out there that's already walked the walk, not just talk to talk. And I'm not sure how this one is, that I haven't checked it out. But you must find somebody that can go ahead and show you the way. Because until you can change your approach, well, you're just going to be doing the same thing over and over. And that's the definition of insanity, thinking something else is going to happen.
Yeah. And we're going to start with what is ADHD. Well, we know that ADHD is attention deficit hyperactive disorder, the inability to focus, impulsive behavior, hyperactive behavior, right? So the kids need medications so that they can sit in a classroom and focus. But I want to give you the formula that actually creates ADHD. And then Thomas is going to give you the formula that what needs to change and why it needs to change, and the how it needs to change is going to take some time, because it takes 21 days to develop a new habit. And we have been taught the habit of offering consequences to our children. Most of the time, the very first time I get on a call with somebody new and I ask them, what do you think is stopping you from living with healthy, happy, cooperative kids? And they'll tell me, well, I need to be more consistent in offering consequences. So this is just a habit. This is a belief that we have. It's not necessarily truth. And we're going to explain why as we move forward in tonight's conversation. But we offer consequences. We bribe our kids to do things. We give them orders. We dictate orders without ever taking the time to create and role play expectations in advance. And I know this to be true because I've read all the parenting books. I've watched all the videos, and every single time there's a new parenting guru out there, I hop on because I'm like, maybe these guys will teach parenting principles. But even Dr. Becky talks about authoritative control. And the illusion is that we can control our children's behavior if we're just consistent enough with discipline. We can control our children's behavior if we're just off, we have enough boundaries set and we hold the line. But how often, and tell me in the comments, how often have you said, I'm going to a restaurant, I'm going shopping with my child, I'm going to be in the dressing room, let's play restaurant at home. Let's play shopping and what it looks like at home and role play out expectations before we actually go on our adventure. Have you ever done this? Yes or no? Comment. Okay, I know there's a little bit of a lag, so
go ahead,
so Tom.
True, Bonnie, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. So let's think about right about there. We would practice a fire escape plan way in advance with something that we don't want to have happen, but it's going to happen at some time. You see, there's nothing you can do in the moment other than just survive. And there's nothing you can do after the fact. See, it's called about preparing for the inevitable, not protecting or postponing. And that's what that whole popping the pill thing's all about, is teaching them the missing life skills. We don't want to ask for an easier life. And moms have been duped to make things easier for your kids. What we're screaming out loud is, give me the missing life skills so I can move more elegantly through life. So when the fire shows up or a new environment comes into place, I know exactly what to do. And so when we look at attention deficit, what if we could substitute the word tension for budget? What does deficit mean? Is that a plus or a minus, Bonnie?
Minus.
So our budget is, we're running a deficit on the budget. That means we have just the right amount of money, or we fell short.
We fell short.
Right. So what's the opposite of deficit? They call it a surplus. So budget surplus means we have what left over?
Money?
Money. So the attention that is so critical here is that every creature, our kids, ourselves, we all require attention. And see, if you can create the environment that there's a deficit of attention, that means there's not enough to make it work. Then you're going to see why attention deficit is designed not to work on the positive side. So I got to ask you this, instead of attention deficit hyperactive disorder, ADHD, well, if you're going to label them something, why not believe in them and give them well, we have a little fun around here, don't we, Bonnie? Just label them asshole, ASHO. It's the opposite of attention deficit. It's called attention surplus. And hyperactive disorder means that they're engaged fully and everything's going in an order of disorder, which means, like in mathematics, it's like minus or division. It's coming apart. But the opposite of hyperactive disorder is order, which means I'm learning how to become hyperactive, fully engaged, full tilt boogie, all in, and I'm creating success in order of creation.
Can I want to interpret Tom. So sometimes Tom speaks in puzzles and it's like, what is he actually trying to say? Because when we were talking about this earlier, I was like, yeah, but like I used to give my kids lots of attention. How many of you feel like you give your kids lots of attention? I mean, I used to take them to West Edmonton Mall and, buy them all these things. And I gave them a 7-bedroom house and did all this stuff. So we're giving them attention. But what Tom's talking about is attention deficit in proactive attention. We give them attention. We give them the life that we always wanted. We plan the trips. We make everything happen, right? Aren't you everything for your kids? Don't you tell them what to do? Don't you supply all of their supplies? Don't you bring the TVs in the house and the video games in the house and pay for the Wi-Fi? And so many conversations on social media is like, at what age should we buy our kids a phone? And I'm thinking, well, when they are old enough to earn a phone. And this is what we're missing. And this is exactly what we're talking about here. Your 8-year-old might say, Mom, I want a phone. And what's the first thing that you think of to come out of your mouth? The first thing you think of is like, oh my gosh, I have another bill to pay. Oh my gosh, are you old enough to actually handle a phone? Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to put warnings, or I'm going to have to put some sort of like boundary on how much you get to use your phone. And this is what we've been taught to do. It's called authoritative parenting, controlled or authoritative control, right? That is an attention deficit for what the child actually wants. Now, I was just listening to an audio and it said that successful people dream dreams. Successful people have goals. They write them down. They create a vision board. They know what they're doing and where they're going. And when a child is 3 years old, 5, 8, 10, 15, I want to drive your car or whatever it is. And we are the adults thinking that we're in control of what our children do. And we make more boundaries and more rules and we tell them no, because we know that it's inappropriate for a 15-year-old to go to a party and get drunk on alcohol, right? So we tell them no. But what they're looking for is, show me how the world works. Teach me the life skills. Show me what I need to do, even if it's when you're 18 or 16 or whatever, we can talk about it. But they need some sort of vision for their life, some sort of proactive attention. And I promise you, I spoiled my kids. I brought them to Disneyland. I brought them camping. We went for takeout food. They had Toys R Us in their rooms. They all had computers and cell phones and games and everything under the sun. But until I met Tom, I never took the time to role play with them. I never took the time to validate them, their goals, and help them with a vision board and help them with a proactive plan. And after I met Tom, I watched my own personal kids, ADHD, transform into the most outstanding, happy, successful, amazing kids. It's magical. It's life-changing. It might even be unbelievable for you right now, but that's what Tom's talking about. Turning the attention deficit into an attention surplus by validating and encouraging your children to have goals and dreams and visions, by giving them a master plan. And are you going to be great at this just because you watched this live video tonight? No, but we're creating awareness that it is possible and that there is a way, and we can help you create these plans in your home, and we can help you transform these child behavior disorders.
That's right. You see, this isn't a matter of just hyperhopium. This is something that's been a lifelong journey of working with literally over 150,000 documented kids from around the world over my lifestyle and my life window and time, however you want to label it, quantify it. I've seen everything underneath the sun that is not even real, that's been labeled, disappear. Never been a belief in holding on to a good story, because when you can crack the code, it's like gravity, it works. But the question was, as we talked about earlier, are you going to be willing to question everything you know? If you can, you got a chance. If you don't, well, leave. Good luck. You'll never make it. Got to be straight. So here's some action steps. So they're okay. Well, kind of give me, what are you talking about? I love this. So let's get something practical, right? When Bonnie talked about instead of attention deficit, right? It's like seeing something you don't like or something that's morals, ethics, or safety. Step one is create an attention surplus, which is the difference between like going up versus down. Attention surplus. And you say, I see a little genius who's just embracing her own uniqueness. And what I mean by uniqueness is, look at your thumbprint. If two of these matched anywhere, what's it now? 8 point something billion. If any two of these matched in the world ever, wouldn't it be in the Guinness Book of World Records, Bonnie?
I'm sure it would.
Would they be able to convict you for a crime because your thumbprint was there? You see, the belief that they are a little genius and they picked you as a trusted advisor, and Bonnie already kind of let the cat out of the bag of, show me, don't imprint on me. And they're going to, of course, they're never going to do anything right, perfect, or correct the first time. Like, name anybody who could, walking, riding a bike, driving a car. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So why are we so quick to jump on the pump when they did it the first time and they're like, right? Slow down a little bit. Just take the moment and be like, wow, step one. Now, step two is show them the way. Well, what do you mean by the way? Well, they're showing you how. They're playing the sacred game called monkey see, monkey do, which is that critical window when they're ready to learn. Show them how and when and where they can actually get it done. Because if you're not their big kid trusted advisor, their hero in their movie, better known as their life, they're going to go figure out how, when, and where to do it without you. It's not a question, are they going to do it? But let me ask you a question here, Bonnie, moms and dads. Who has your genius offspring's best intentions, future impact more than you?
Right.
Because if there is somebody, we'll hand them off. So they got a fighting chance, but I haven't found anybody. It's you. So show them when and where that it can be done with the sacred game of monkey see, monkey do, because nobody was talking to walking. They saw it, mimicked, and ready to rock and roll. Step three. If your little child came up with a little sign that says, do you believe I can learn? What would you say? No, because you've got this label. There's something wrong with you. You wouldn't believe they can learn. That's where we let that hyperactive order go away. Believe they can learn to overcome any and all obstacles in life all by themselves. And if you're still a non-believer, you're holding on to these good stories or whatever the so-called experts are telling you that I've got to fix, but this is why. Dead ends, cul-de-sacs, you go around in a circle. Then find me a animal in our animal kingdom that bears offspring that violates the sacred code of prepare the offspring to launch out of the nest other than man, because we were given free will where no other animal has. If you can find me an animal that violates that code, well, I'll listen to you. If not, you were duped. Don't kill the messenger.
Don't kill the messenger. You know what the truth of the whole matter is that in 1946, this whole authoritative parenting was introduced. It was like, let's stop really virtually teaching them life skills and including them in anything, because, you know, the number one priority for our children is they need attention and they need to be loved. And so we literally started lavishing our kids with attention, and they introduced things like redirect, timeouts, and takeaways, and consequences, and boundaries, and everything that we're learning in today's parenting. Well, about 10 years later, after that book was introduced, parents started bringing their kids to their doctor's office in droves. My kid won't listen to me. There must be something wrong with them. And they literally made it up. They made up ADHD, and they came up with a way to help the parents by dealing with the symptoms. How do you say that? Suppressing the symptoms with
Symptom
medication.
relief.
And now it's grown into, believe it or not, do your own due diligence on this. Do your Google research. It's actually in our book, Raising Healthy, Happy, Cooperative Kids. I've done all the research for you from the beginning of time in parenting till today, because once I saw that you could include success principles into parenting and I watched my kids transform, I'm like, every mom in the world deserves to know about this. That's why we said at the beginning, some of you are just going to think we're crazy and you're just going to leave right now. And that's totally up to you. But I'm telling you, it is a real thing, and it is possible, and your kids are just waiting for you to teach them. So,
and thanks for bringing that up, Bonnie,
yeah,
because nobody normal ever made history.
that's true.
So I hope you think we're crazy.
Yeah.
So,
I'm
one of these comments that are coming in talking about how I learned to improve my focus. Well, see, what makes this very unique is that this wasn't something that comes from the so-called textbook teachings from the pharmaceutical industry. You see, this goes back thousands of years of self-control. This is the martial art teaching of how this meat suit works. You learn to just always engage and do something. You have self-control where I'm in control, not they, and I'm not in this la-la land of something is. I am responsibility. I'm responsible for my actions and my belongings, which means I have a code of ethics that I can actually take responsibility for when I do right and I make a mistake, because then I can fix it in the moment.
Yeah.
Self-discipline, meaning that I can regulate, override myself from making the wrong decisions that aren't keeping me on track to my genius gifts to share with the world. And focus and speed and all these things go into play. This is why every parent who chooses to question everything and then be able to sacrifice and let those go and create a void so they can now replace it with something else, because it's really hard to fill a cup that's already full, huh, Bonnie?
Yes, it is. And I have this overriding thought right now that it's like, well, smart kids are born. No, like leaders are just born. Champions are just born that way. And this isn't the truth. You have a champion inside of you, and your kid has a champion inside them too. They just want to be seen by you.
True.
They need to know how the world works, and we've been too busy following them around, correcting them in every single moment that they're doing something wrong, and they're always going to do something wrong because they're kids and they have no idea how the world works. They don't see the world the way that you do. So we just finished talking about ADHD and asshole. And if you missed that, then watch the replay. We're moving on to oppositional defiant disorder. My point in what I was just sharing is every single thing you wish your kid to be, do, or have, it is a life skill that they can learn if you're willing to take the time to teach them. And that does include self-control and focus. Okay. Oppositional defiant disorder.
Ooh,
I'm going to tell you what
that is.
Well, it is a huge business, and I'll tell you what, because I was and still am an oppositionally defiant child, and all this means is a child who is not seen, heard, validated. It is a child who is being controlled, being put into a box of conformity, and they're not willing to conform. They want to be seen, and it's like, God, I mean, if you've heard this before, I'm sorry, I'm going to say it again. If we followed you around all day and told you, no, you can't have anything that's important to you, I'm taking the video game home. And I'm sure people are commenting. We're on here a little differently tonight, you guys, in our Facebook group, because we had a little technical issue. So if you're commenting, we're not seeing your comments. I'm sure that you are. But I want to talk about the video game, because Kelly, you put a comment in our group here before we went live about, like, well, he wouldn't get off the video game. He had a fit. So today we just took it away from him. And I want you to imagine somebody just going, you know what? I don't like how you drove your car yesterday. So when you go out tomorrow morning to drive your car to where you need to go, it's not going to be there because we just decided that you can't have it. Oppositional defiant disorder is a child who needs to be seen. They need a master plan. You just need to show them what to do, validate their desires, and show them what to do to get what's important to them to show up. Like, if the number one thing to create success in this world for a human being is the ability to have a goal and to make a plan to achieve that goal, doesn't it make sense that if we brought that into our parenting and we allowed our children to have their own goals and we stopped just giving them everything that we think that they want and then giving it to them with some sort of strings attached? Well, I'm going to give this to you, but you know what? You better do what I tell you to do. Oh, you know what? You didn't get off the game. I'm taking it back. I'm taking it away. I'm throwing it away. With no pre-frame, no life skills, no proactive plan, the only power that these little guys have is to freak out and scream. It's like they're going to blow their top. Does this make sense?
It should, because you got to ask yourself, did you show them the missing life skills on how to make that video game show up all on their own if you cease to exist? Or did you fall into the sacred, oh, we're going to dupe all the parents, called bribery, which means you bought it for them, so it came with strings attached? This is rhetorical, but those are the ones that should be questioning anything and everything. So let's jump into the next one, Bonnie. What's the other big one? That was the
Well, you were going to talk about, I talked about ODD,
Yeah.
a child that's freaking out because we're controlling everything that they
Got it.
do.
Let's break this down. Oppositional. O. Oppositional. Defiant. Disorder. Positive or negative for oppositional? Positive or negative for defiant? Positive or negative for disorder? Doesn't take an Einstein to go, kind of leaning towards the negative. It's not, I don't see a lot of sunshine there, a lot of smiles. So let's play the game of opposites, because that's really simple on how you can go from can't to can, don't to will. If oppositional, the opposite of opposition would be to agree. Mint. How about agree? Mint. To see it together. You see, back in the United States, when we used to have the Democrats and the Republicans, this is back in the 60s. The presidents would look at the situation, at the task at hand, and then they would share a common goal to solve the puzzle for the people, of the people, by the people. I know this is a long time ago. But then they would have, I have this way and this way, but they actually had an agreement to solve the puzzle. Would you like to do it this way or this way? But it still benefited the people. So ACO is going to be the counter to the ODD. If you're going to label them ODD, give them a fighting chance and see if they qualify. Get them tested for ACO. Agreement. What's the opposite of defiant? Operating with someone else, better known as cooperation, cooperative, right? So we've got agreement, cooperative. And what's the opposite of disorder? This should be rhetorical because you diss the diss. It's called an order. So what do you do now if you got an ODD kid? Well, then there's obviously a violation of the original agreement. We would all act a fool then. False or true?
Mm-hmm.
We said we're going to work together. What was all this bait and switch talk about? And we have a common goal to do what the sacred relationship is, better known as order, is to prepare the kids to launch, not manipulate them,
Tom,
and so forth.
This is so cool. Okay, because I watch all the videos for ODD online. Like I said, like I'm always looking for a little bit of hope that the experts start to actually get this, that the children have a fighting chance. And I just can't imagine the benefit that would come from going, you know what, little Timmy, you're oppositionally defiant. This is a brain disorder and you can't help it. You're just going to be defiant. And you know what, if you keep doing that, I'm going to take your game away. And how is that supposed to help a child who is like 5 or 8 or 10 who has no idea how the world works? I'm seeing your comments now, Muriel. I'm sorry about your 5-year-old. You know what? You have a meeting with me on Saturday, and there is a way to help. All we're going to do is we're going to show you how to be proactive versus reactive. We're going to show you to tell the little guy what they can do to make their game show up. Are you with me? We start telling our kids, hey, you have agreement cooperative order, and I'm sorry, I've never validated anything that you asked for because I didn't know any better. I was following the experts and I was wrong. But let me tell you this, little Timmy, what you're asking for right now, that's called a goal. And I'm on your side. I'm your trusted advisor. Like, Tom, you literally saved my family's life. You saved my life with my kids because this stuff actually works because these are success principles. The Bible says people without vision perish, and we're moving on to anxiety because these kids that have ADHD, well, 9 times out of 10, they've also got ODD and anxiety and depression and all this stuff to go with it. Like, it's label after label after label after label. And then you start putting them on medication, and then they're like, what? Suicidal. Well, I don't know. Have you ever taken one of your kids' medications? Like, I tried one of my girlfriend's antidepressants one day because I was like, let me see what that's like anyway. And I took one and I was like, wow, I'm so happy. And then the next day I was so depressed and sick and terrible. It was terrible. It was terrible. So let's figure out what is anxiety. Anxiety, oh, this is going to make so much sense for you. Anxiety is fear of the future. Anxiety means I have no vision for my life. I have no idea what tomorrow is going to bring. I don't know. I'm 13. I'm going to be an adult soon, and I have no idea how the world works because nobody ever took the time to show me.
Anxiety is so simple. What if you had 2 out of the 3 ingredients? Would you like to know that there was a third or what the third was? It's just called rhetorical. Like, well, yeah, duh. Well, when you're missing one of the 3 ingredients to make things work in life, can, can't, don't care. What else is there? You're only given, I can't do it. That's what everybody's telling me. So I'm wrong. Or I don't care to do it anymore. There's nothing in there. I don't know how to do it. Well, that anxiety kicks in going, well, you just need the third element. It's called desire. You see, your genius code is imprinted on your thumbprint. And when you can decode it, that you have a secret gift that only you can demonstrate to the world. And it's that passion and purpose of why I'm here. Oh, everything falls right into place. So anxiety is like, I got to find myself one of them trusted advisors out there, the one that can show me how, when, and where, have my best interests at heart with zero imprinting prejudice, and help me launch out of the nest at every single animal in the animal kingdom that God already created to go, oh, monkey see, monkey do. That seems pretty simple. What's all this smoke and mirrors and who's behind the curtain? Don't mind the man working the levers, right?
Yes.
Then all of a sudden anxiety is cured. Ooh, did I see the C word? I hope you heard it because it's cured. You add the third element, fire happens. Jungle Book, they called it the red flower. Man makes the red flower. Anybody remembers the book? So desire is missing. It's your first attempt in learning to do it all by yourself. Fail big. You'll put 2 and 2 together as a puzzle. We're going to shift gears because you know what?
Well, I just gotta say this, as an entrepreneur, anytime I ever found myself getting a little bit anxious, you know what I would do? I would erase my whiteboard and I'd create a new master plan, and then I would be calm and peaceful. You see, we go to the doctor for anxiety and they're just going to suppress that feeling in your soul. They're going to give you a medication that suppresses the feeling, but is it the way to go? What if we just create a master plan? And if you've been listening to us for the last half an hour, you'll know that what we're talking about here, there's only so many principles to exist. There's a success formula in Think and Grow Rich, a success formula. Number 1, a burning desire. Number 2, number 1 after you have a burning desire is to have a goal, and then you create a plan, and then you decide the price you're willing to pay. And if you're getting this, you're like, oh my God, I could totally help my kid live a happy, healthy, normal life. Yes, you can. But there's a price that you're going to have to pay. It's going to take some money, and it's going to take some time, and it's going to take some commitment, and it's going to take some getting uncomfortable, and it's going to take changing a plan. But you have the goal, the plan, the price to pay. You put it in writing, you create a written statement, and then you read that written statement out loud a couple times a day.
That's right.
That's the formula for success. Does your child have a goal and a plan? And do they know that the price that they're willing to pay? And is it in writing? And do they look at that vision every day? And if the answer is no, then we have no success plan for our kids. So then they're not being successful. So then we go, why aren't you being successful? And then we think we can take them to a doctor who's never worked with children. And they're going to know they don't know how to help you. That's why we're here. And we did not wake up one day and go, let's read a textbook and become parent coaches. No, God put us through a whole lot of hell to get here for you and for our kids and for the kids of the future of the world, because nobody else is teaching this. But two little nobodies from nowhere, and Tom's going to correct me, I know, or somebody's from
somewhere.
I know. But like, didn't Jesus pick all the fishermen and teach them to become fishers of men?
Well, he did what they did with the circus. It's called gather up all the oddities, the misfits, the mavericks, the ODDers, the ones that aren't willing to bend a knee and comply.
Oh my God.
They're
Hallelujah.
here to fight for the reason that they're here to
your
share
children
their gift with the world.
Oh. And we're suppressing the leaders of the next generation. We're suppressing them with labels and consequences. Oh my God.
Oh, hang on a second. I got to say this real quick. What? This is a pop quiz for the ones that love.
We're coming in for clothes.
Love to actually play the puzzle game. What does a rancher do to his cattle? Oh, somebody said it. They brand them. Could that be? Come on. I want to see the smart ones who can go, well, maybe
I can see your comments now. Comment.
That's a label. Well, so why would they brand them? So I could have and demonstrate and prove. Ends with ship, stands with owner. Put it together, put it into the actual.
Put it in the comments. The last comment I got was oppositional defiant disorder, agreement, cooperative order. Love it. ACO. Yeah. Yes, Angela, brand them, label them, owner. And you know what? They want to label, they want to own them. ODD, projected. ODD has a projection. Did you know this? They're projected to reach $26.3 billion industry by the year 2028. Isn't that nice?
So maybe our kids are fighting because they don't want to be sold into slavery. They don't want to be tossed off. They don't want to give up their sacred gift to fight tooth and nail to become that one sperm out of the whole gambit into the egg, survive the obstacle course, and be the 1 in a million odds to show up here on earth in physical form to share their gift, and then be like, yeah, let me just hand that over.
Be who I want you to be, and say what I want you to say, and wear what I want you to wear, and do your hair the way I want you to, and go to school and sit in this classroom all day long and learn what we want you to learn. And you want that? Nope, can't do that because you didn't do this. It is a recipe for disaster.
So let's just send them off into slavery. Common side effects of depression. Tell them that whatever they've done is wrong or bad, or they get stuck in the past of pondering the thoughts of hurt, trauma, mistakes, unworthiness, feelings. Question everything, not to be disrespectful, but for deeper understanding. Activate that third element. Bring your passion into fruition. You've known it your whole life. You might, like Wayne Dyer says, we're born magnificent, perfect in every way, but we've been conditioned into mediocrity. Rise yourself up. Draw a line in the sand, mother infantry. Of course, we got some dads coming on board and say, hell no, we won't go. Rally up, because if it's not you, then who? If it's not this, then what? If it's not now, then when is a good time for change?
And I want to say this for those that missed us in the very beginning is
yeah, exactly.
We
These guys are passionate.
We're pretty passionate. We geared up through the presentation. I want you to know, like, we've come together. We're stepping out of our comfort zone, and we are putting together a world-class community of moms and dads who are willing to stand in the front line of this war against our children's mental health. And if you're hearing what we're saying, you're like, God, this makes so much sense. It feels like truth, but you don't know what to do. Then you're going to get in touch with us and we're going to take the next step. If you watched us, you're like, yeah, but no, it's not going to work for my kid, because then you're not part of our tribe. It's not the community. But if you're willing to stand strong and fight for the life of your family, your children, your grandchildren, and what will continue on to be your great grandchildren, and I want to also say society, because as you begin to learn these principles and use them in your parenting life, your children will begin to transform and change, and everybody around you is going to go, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Your children are so great. I want to do what you're doing, which means you're just like a little seed in humanity planted in society for the future of the world. We hear so much, oh, we're in end times. Well, we're in end times. We're in the new beginning.
There's one. Muriel just staked a claim. I am willing to fight for my grandchild.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Muriel.
Yes.
Who else is willing to fight for their child or their grandchild? Who else wants to be part of this world-class community? Who else wants to think outside of the box and tell their children that you are, what did you call that? ACO. You are asshole, attention, surplus, hyperactive order. I'm going to help you. You don't have anxiety. You have no vision for the future. Let me help you build a vision for the future. You have depression. Oh my God. I have told you way too long that what you've done is wrong. What you've done is bad. That's on me. You're perfect just the way you are, because you know what? Your children are going to take these thoughts to bed with them, and they're going to ponder on them, and they're going to grow up into their adult life feeling like there's something wrong with them, and that breeds depression.
Correct.
So
thoughts become things. Positive or negative is irrelevant. Think you can, think you can't, you're going to be right.
Absolutely. And Angela said, pick me. So we've got a couple grandmas who want to be part of the community. Hallelujah. All right, I'm going to close with this. It can be really overwhelming listening to our videos and engaging with us. And you're like, oh my God, I got to change everything. And it's too hard and it's too much. I get that. And
so is eating an elephant.
Yeah, so is eating an elephant. You can't change everything all at once, and nobody's going to ask you to. But if we just learn one thing today, we're going to be better tomorrow than we were today. And if you've got a 5-year-old or a 10-year-old or a 15-year-old, well, they're going to be 12, 13, 15, and 25 eventually. Yes. And let me promise you this. The one thing I can for sure promise is your kids are going to do things you don't like. Right, because they're kids and they're just gonna find the easiest way to maneuver in the world. Another thing that I can promise you is your kids, you can't just bury your head in the sand and hope it all goes away when they're 18. Oh, they'll be 18 soon and move out. Like, la la la. No, they leave and then they multiply and then they come back home, mom or dad, and that's the truth. And so these principles that we want to empower you with will serve you now and forever. So all you got to do is make a decision to change one thing at a time. Get in touch with us, respond to one of our emails, put a comment under this video that says I'm ready, and we'll reach out to you. Send us a private message on Messenger or whatever. Reach out to us. You know how to find us. If you don't, be creative, because we're here. We're not going anywhere.
So true.
So with that being said,
lots of love to everybody. Is it ever too late? Never, ever is. Play the I didn't know card and start today. So until we meet again.
Let me just say this to Maya. I'm sorry. Oh, Maya. School won't take the time to understand your son, but you can teach your son. We can't teach the world how to change for our children, but we can teach our children how to engage in the world. And that is another absolute promise that I can give to you. from one mom to another, from one mom who had a 6-year-old who was just like your son, who is now 19 years old and a sous chef at the busiest restaurant in our city. He's the boss of 25 to 40-year-olds at the age of 19. Your son's got an amazing future ahead. And the fact that you're here with Muriel, your mom, to fight for your kid speaks volumes for who you are. So, hi, Audra. We got all these people joining us now. We are just wrapping up. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being part of our community, for stepping up for the sake of your children and for the sake of our future generations of children.
That's right.
And
let's plant the seed if you're
okay.
open. What if I could be the first in my family lineage to destroy, disrupt, and dismantle a hypnotic curse that is no longer serving me or my kids' future? And I can make a decision today to just step forward in faith. You don't even have to know how. That's the best part. Because when the intention is clear, that's called our why. The method will always appear. Move forward in faith. Take that leap of faith and be the first in your family lineage to create what we call a hypnotic cure that's as simple as goal, plan, take action, perseverance.
Yeah.
So until we meet again,
here's to our parenting success.
Cheers.
Bye, everybody.
Bye for now.